So that being said, I'm going to bring on my special guest tonight, all right? And it's my thrill to have him on the show tonight. He's known all over the world of boxing. He's a former Undisputed Middleweight World Boxing Champion. Let's give him an up-late welcome for Vito Antuofermo. Yeah.
Thank you.
Vito, my man.
Well, shit, don't ring the bell.
That's
please.
it.
That's all I got to...
When you go like this, he wakes up, he's like
don't
this.
ring the bell.
What part of Italy are you from? Bari?
Bari. A little town called Palo del Colle, Bari. It's like 10 kilometers from Bari, from the city of Bari.
And then you moved here at what age? A teenager? 16?
Yeah, I was 15 years old, 1968.
Okay.
I went to Brooklyn, East Flatbush.
All right.
Avenue N and 54th Street.
Is that...
you guys?
Yeah.
Yeah. You the me.
Now, you moved here, as you said, you were picked on by a lot of people when you...
Well, yeah, you know...
Because you couldn't speak, right?
Well, yeah, I couldn't... I was 15 and a half, like that. And I wanted to be with people. There was another friend of mine, also came from Italy, but he was able to speak English a little better because he was there a couple of years before that. And some kids, used to try to pick on me, didn't understand English, and, so one day I had to let out a couple of punches.
You had to set them straight.
Yeah, I had to straight a couple of guys out, and I did. Sure enough, one night, a cop found me. He said, "Are you the guy that I'm looking for?" I never forget his name, Joe Dwyer.
Okay.
He may rest in peace. He died a couple of years ago. He grabs me, throws me into the
police car?
In the police car. And he said, "I'm taking you to jail tonight." Because when I first came, I couldn't speak English, didn't go to school, I had to go to work.
Yeah.
So a lot of kids in the neighborhood used to make fun of me, and it wasn't until a couple of months later I was able to understand what were they saying. And one night, I let it all out.
But we didn't know the wise guy started in with you. The story that I got, the wise guy started in when you all got arrested, and then the cop was going to arrest you, and he took you to the PAL Boxing League, right?
One day I said, "You know what? I'm going to let out." And I beat up a couple of kids. And they called the cops, and they were looking for me. And one day, they grabbed me. They grabbed me and said, "We're going to take you to jail." Instead of taking me to jail, there was a gym, a PAL gym, on Snyder Avenue and just like maybe a couple of 100 yards from Flatbush Avenue. There was a PAL. There's a precinct there. I forgot. I think it was 68th precinct. I don't know what 168 or 69 precinct.
Listen, you've been in one jail, you've been in them all,
No, I wasn't in jail. No, the guy was supposed to take me to the precinct.
Yeah.
But instead he took me next door. There was a PAL gym where they played basketball, and upstairs there was a boxing gym. So they figured, let's take him over there, let's see what he could do, this guy. And sure enough, we walk into the gym, into a room, small room with a boxing ring. And the guy I remember the policeman, we met years later again. By that night, it was Joe Dwyer. He may rest in peace now. And we walked into the gym, and we spoke to Joe LaGuardia. I don't know if anybody remembers his name. He was one of the greatest amateur trainers. And he says, "Joe, see if you can make a fight out of this kid." And Joe says, "Come here. What do you want? You know how to fight?" I said, "Yeah, I was never in the ring before." He asked me if I know how to fight. Yeah, I was fighting in the street. Sure enough, he puts me in the ring. He says, "You want to box?" I says, "Yeah." He puts me in the ring, and the guy must have experience because I got beat the hell out of that night in the ring.
At 17 years old, once you were in the PAL, you won your first fight, the sub-notice division of the New York Golden Gloves. And from there, started your career.
Right.
Your first big fight that you remember, what is it? The biggest one,
The biggest fight was when I won the Golden Gloves, 1970.
Yes.
March of 1970 in the Golden Gloves.
And that's what I just said. You won the Golden Gloves.
That was let me tell you something. I won the World Championship 9 years later. When I won that Golden Gloves that night, in Madison Square Garden, it was 20-some thousand people. Usually for the Golden Gloves, back then, I don't know by now, when they fight for the championship, they full Madison Square Garden to maximum.
Yeah.
And sure enough, I won I beat the preliminary, which was like five boxing. I had to beat the preliminary because each class has like 20, 30 guys. So they all fight. The lose get out, and the win fight the following week.
Yeah.
So I kept going on. It was like I fought for like 5 weeks. Each week I had to beat the guy, and finally went to the final. And I won the championship March of 1970, Golden Gloves Championship.
So let's fast forward this now because time is going with the clock over here. In 1979, you became middleweight world champion by beating Hugo Coro with a split decision in 15 rounds in Monte Carlo.
Right.
That must have been a great night. That was like the highlight,
well, actually,
right?
I had like 20-some boxing match.
Yeah.
As a professional, I fought in the amateur. I won 2 Golden Gloves championship. Then I turned professional. I won 20 fights. In Italy, they heard about me, this kid from it, because I came from Italy just 2 years before that. They called me. They asked if I want to go fight in Italy. So I said, well, you got to speak to my manager. So we went to Italy, and I won the Italian championship. 1974, 75, I won the European championship. And it took me a few years after that to win the world championship, all in Italy.
But what do you think, guys? Come on. Yeah. So now, Vito, as time went on, you fought all the best, a lot of fighters. Who was your favorite fighter that you fought?
My favorite fight is when I won the championship, Hugo Coro from Argentina. But of course, before that, one of my favorite fighters was a guy that I looked up to him when I was a kid in Italy by the name Emil Griffith.
Okay.
I don't know if anybody remember. He was a champion. This guy was 5-time world champion. And he fought a couple Italian guys when I was in Italy, watched him on television at night. And now I came over here. I won the Golden Gloves twice. I turned professional, and I'm getting close to fight Emil Griffith. This was my dream, to fight Emil. And I fought Emil Griffith at Madison Square Garden, and I beat him. That was, to me, when I beat Emil, even though it wasn't for the championship, for me it was one of the biggest fights I've had in my life because I was a kid watching him. I don't know if anybody remembers Nino Benvenuti from Italy. He fought Nino. They had 3 fights together, and they split between one guy won one time. And
let me ask you a question.
Let me
ask you a question. Why were you known for getting cut up? What was wrong with you?
I have what do you call a baby skin.
Okay. Too much baby oil at night, right?
No. Usually white skin does that. Like Chuck Weapon, I heard about Chuck Weapon, right?
Yeah.
He was like me. We used to get cut a lot. Me, I lost 5 fights. I won 52 fights. Yes. I lost 5 fights in my career, all on the cuts. I beat Marvelous Marvin Hagler 15 rounds. But one real reason why I lost some fights, because usually they have medicine that when you could stop the bleeding when you get cut.
Yeah.
And most of the time they will let me use that. But if they knew that I lost, if they knew that I get cut easy, they would say, no, you can't use no coagulant. That's called coagulant. Mm-hmm. That coagulates the blood. And I lost 5 fights because I was bleeding. Not because I was losing fights, because I was bleeding.
Now let me ask you a question. After you got back in the 80s, and why did you retire originally in the 80s, in 84?
Well, 84, I was 32 years old already. So, I could see the last few fights, I wasn't the same.
You were on a good run for a while there
yes.
after that, and then your last couple of fights that you fought, and then when you came back only a year later, right?
I came back a year later, right. I had a couple of fights. I won 3 fights by knockout, and then I took a fight to go to Montreal, and I fought a young kid. I was at the time 32 years old. The kid was only 26, by the name Matthew. Anyway, he became world champion in his next fight. because I was old. I was 32 years old, and I made a comeback. I wanted to fight for the championship again, but I had to fight number one contender, Matthew Hilton. Matter of fact, there were three brothers fighting, and all three of them became world champion from Montreal. And I fought one of the guy as a junior middleweight, and I got cut, and I had to stop the fight.
We want to introduce your manager over here. Let's give a late night, up late welcome for Gigi LeQ, right here. There you are. What's up, G?
How you doing?
How you doing? You got your hands full with this guy, huh? Or he has his hands full with you, right? Now, what's the deal? What your manager? Is you Kumar? Oh, I mean, what is this?
There's no Kumar. There's no Kumar.
Kumar. Are you guys married? What's up?
I'm neither. I could just play it on TV.
All right, all right. So how long you been managing Vito for?
5 years.
I watched the fights and everything.
Well, I lived in Brooklyn. Now I live in Queens, but I lived in Brooklyn on 54th Street and MUN. And I trained, what are they called, Computers Gym? Avenue and West 9th Street. I trained there. I started training in 1978. I won the European title from the gym. Originally, I was training at Gleason's gym when Gleason was in Manhattan.
Gleason's
now happens to be in
dynamite
Brooklyn.
place. Now, listen, before we go, let me ask you this. So, like when Vito retired, he had all these different jobs. He worked on the docks. He actually owned a restaurant that he slowly turned it over. Now, what got you into the acting? Because you were in Goodfellas, The Godfather 2, The Sopranos. How'd that lead you from the boxing career? Did someone come up to you and be your manager or your agent? How'd you get into the movies?
No. They called me one day to say this was after I retired, and I opened up a pizzeria at the time too, and back in the middle 70s.
Okay.
This happened in 1970, 88, I think. Yeah, okay. 88. And they called me one night and said, we want to talk to you. I figured there were some people that maybe, because I was retired then, I had a pizzeria, I had a restaurant at the time.
Yeah.
I said, no, listen,
what
I
was
don't
it called?
fight.
Vito's Boxing Pizza?
No. Champ's Pizza. What else?
That's nice.
Champ's Pizza, right. This was in Queens, on Atlantic Avenue. Anyway, they called me, they wanted to see me. I said, no, listen, I don't, showing up, no, but we want to see you, this. And they said it was an audition for The Godfather Part 3. Mm-hmm. You saw the movie, right?
Yeah.
And when I went there, I thought, listen, one thing I don't want to fight no more. No, I said they want to take a picture of me. Okay, so I took a picture. They didn't tell me who they were, nothing. They called me like a few weeks later. They said, congratulations, you got the part. What part? What are you talking about? So I said, listen, we were filming a movie, The Godfather Part 3. But can you go? This was like just before Christmas of 1990. And he says, listen, I can't, they wanted, just like a week before Christmas, they wanted me to leave to go to Italy. That's where they filmed. The whole movie was filmed in Italy. I just, because I had 4 kids at the time, and I wanted to stay home with the kids for Christmas. No, don't worry about it. Okay, we'll call you back.
Dynamite stories. But we had this. That's your time. Anyone wants to check out Vito Antuofermo, you got to Google him on the internet. He doesn't have social media or anything like that. But Vito, we're going to have you on the podcast soon, and we're going to continue this conversation. You're going to have a full thing.
Oh, you know what I want to say? Now, I worked for Trump. For 3 years, I worked for Trump.
Oh, really?
I was his personal bodyguard inside the Trump Tower.
Believe me, I want to keep talking to you. But they already suspended me last year for running overtime. So everybody, Vito Antuofermo.
Yeah.